Ashes 201,718. Jonny Bairstow scored his first Test hunt since June 2016. Copyright Getty. It has been a long time between Test match hundreds for Jonny Bairstow. His previous century was back in June 2016, against Sri Lanka at Lord's, and although he did score 99 against South Africa at Old Trafford this summer, reaching three figures on Friday, December 15 at the WACA was long overdue. England's wicketkeeper had a brilliant 2016 with the bat, averaging nearly 60, but this year, runs have been harder to come by. From 9 tests in 2017 prior to this one, he was averaging a touch over 31 and had scored just 3 half-centuries. Some of that has been down to a struggle for form, but the home summer was a tough one for batting generally. Bairstow has also been shuffled around the order, starting at number 5 before being moved down to 7 and now being promoted to 6, which may have had an impact. Knowing which positions to bat, their 3 all-rounders Bairstow, Moeen Ali and, when available, Ben Stokes has been a problem for England, and although Stokes has generally batted the highest in the order of the 3, Bairstow has claimed to be the most rounded batsman. England had batted him at number 6 in the warm-up matches prior to the first test at the Gabba, although Moeen was injured for 2 of those games. England's management then decided on number 7 for Bairstow on account of his ability to bat with the tail, which he so ably demonstrated during that 99 against South Africa when he helped England put on 110 for the last 4 wickets. His display here in Perth, though, suggests that he should have been batting at number 6 for the first 2 matches of this series. Bairstow may be an all-rounder, but he is a proper Test match batsman, and he averages nearly 49 at 6, better than any other position. Not that it seems to bother Bairstow. After the second day, he told reporters that he genuinely doesn't think it makes that much of a difference where he bats. "You could be in at 100 for 4 or 100 for 5, Bairstow added. "You could be in at 400 for 4 or 400 for 5, so there's so many different situations in that middle order. All of a sudden you could be facing that new ball batting at 6 or 7. It's so difficult to compare positions, but I'm delighted to score the runs that I did in this innings and hope that can be carried forward." He has sealed the number 6 spot for the rest of the series, and despite Bairstow's assertions, with more wickets in hand, it does at least give him more chances to shape an innings. He scored at least 20 in 3 out of 4 innings before this match, but was too often left with just the tail. As has been shown, in the face of Australia's pace attack, they don't tend to hang around too long, which has meant Bairstow being forced to attempt to push the score along in the hope of rescuing the innings. He has been out softly a number of times as a result, and it led many to think that England were wasting one of their best batting resources. Ricky Ponting, on commentary, said as much yesterday. Bairstow is too good a player to regularly be in that position, and here, finally, he was able to show his true class. "You want to make an Ashes 100, Bairstow said. You want to look back in the archives when you're retired and say to your kids and grandkids that you made 100 at the WACA, away from home. There's a huge amount of pride which comes with any 100 and to play for your country. It meant a huge amount." His innings of 119 came after a difficult few weeks for the 28-year-old. At the end of the first test, his by now well-publicized headbutt greeting of Australian batsman Cameron Bancroft earlier in the tour came to light. It caused Bairstow to have to justify himself in a press statement, emphasizing that there was no malice involved, but it cannot fail to have embarrassed him somewhat. The local media was not slow to put the boot in. In a good-natured response today, he knocked his head against his helmet twice when celebrating his century. "The 100 was in many ways my favorite one," he said. "I've played in a few Ashes series now, and to score an Ashes 100 is something you dream about as a kid. It's eluded me until now, and it was a whole heap of emotions which came running through. It was a bit of a light-hearted fun with everything that's gone on, and that's exactly the way it should be taken." Bairstow and David Malan put on 237 runs, a record partnership for the 5th wicket for England in Australia. They had briefly threatened to take the game away from the home team by getting the visitors up to a score of 500 plus, and although Bairstow admitted it was disappointing to collapse in the way England did, he was pleased that he had shared another record-breaking partnership after the 399-run stand that he and Stokes shared in Cape Town in January 2016. "We were 100 for 413-14, so you can look at it both ways," he said of today's collapse when England lost 6 wickets for 35 runs. "It was a fantastic recovery, and we've got 400 on the board, or you can look at it and think we've let the position slip. We've got the capability of taking 5 or 6 wickets in a session. We've shown that previously, and there's no reason why we can't now. England's order yet again failed to combat the pace and hostility of the Australian pace attack. They've made it very clear their plans to the tail, haven't they? Bairstow added. It's something that they're very fortunate to have three guys bowling upwards of 140 km per hour consistently, and that is a game plan they are able to use, and they have used it very well. Fair play to them. Our guys in our bowling attack have got some exquisite skills, and I believe our boys have got the skills to get 20 wickets in this test match. As for the rest of the match, Bairstow described the state of play as interesting and dubbed tomorrow's first session as huge for England's chances. Those first two sessions, we need to keep the Aussies behind us for as long as possible, he said. We've got the new ball as well, and we've seen the new ball do a little bit more. It potentially might change things too. I walked out to bat this morning and the crack on the crease was a good half an inch wider than it was last night, so you don't know what you might see when you walk out there tomorrow. Bairstow has a job to do with the gloves tomorrow, and then we'll have another important innings to play with the bat later in this match. If England are to turn the seemingly impossible into reality and win this series from 20 down, they need their best players to perform. Now in the right position in the order, Bairstow has made a pretty good start. Copyright CricBuzz tags England, South Africa, Australia versus England, third test, the Ashes, 201,718 from around the web.